The following is a presentation of 912 Sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, your number one source for high school sports. With Sean Smoke and Kevin Price. On Air with 912 Sports is brought to you by Coastal Pines Technical College. Go Coastal. Prime South Bank. Find your prime. Robbie Robertson Ford, because Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Gibson Animal Clinic, practical solutions with limited fees. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, the region's best orthopedic care. And Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with eXp Realty.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, and we have a great show for you tonight. The 2024 State Riflery Championships were held this past Saturday here in Waycross at the Ware County Board of Education Shooters Facility. It was the first time in history Ware's hosted the event. The Camden County Wildcats came away with their second straight title for the team competition, and Statesboro's own Caitlin Sullivan won her first individual state title in front of an enthusiastic crowd. I'll have a full report on the event. The Brantley County Herons have their new man as head coach of their football program. Back in January 2024, six-year head coach Jeff Cannon left Brantley to take the head job at Coosa High School in Rome. The Herons acted fast to find their new coach and didn't have to go far, tapping David Shores of the Brunswick High Pirates staff to lead the Herons program. Kevin Price will talk with Coach Shores about his new position and his vision for the 2024 Herons. So stick around. We'll be right back after these messages. You're watching On Air with 912 Sports.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Welcome, sports fans. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports. And the 2024 Georgia State Riflery Championships were held this past Saturday at the Ware County Board of Education Shooting Complex in Waycross, Georgia. This is the home of the 6-time state champion Ware County Gators and the team's first time hosting the state championship match. The championship matches determined a team champion, and from those scores, 8 individuals were allowed to shoot for the individual state title in the afternoon session. The matches consisted of 3 rounds of 3 positions to create an overall total score. Each shooter shoots from the prone, kneeling, and standing positions. In the team competition, each team has 5 shooters, and then the team takes the best 4 scores. After 3 rounds, the Camden County Wildcats were back-to-back state champions, scoring a team combined score of 23-38. I had a chance to talk to head coach Steve Banta about the victory, and here's what Coach Banta had to say. Welcome, sports fans. We're here with Coach Steve Banta of the Camden County Wildcats, back-to-back state riflery champions. Coach, appreciate you joining us today on Air with 912 Sports.
Thank you for having us on.
Well, Coach, you guys coming off back-to-back championships. The year before that, you guys finished second. Kind of talk a little bit about the success in the riflery down here at Camden County. It's kind of come on strong the last 3 years.
Well, I mean, first of all, it starts with the kids. Got really good kids that want to listen. They want to learn. Got great support from the school, and just the families are amazing. I mean, we travel all over, so that that really helps. And the kids go the extra mile. I mean, they'll spend times. I mean, if it was up to them, they'd shoot year round. I mean, they take the time. Parents take them to camps in the summertime, and it's just really been a group effort getting here.
Right. Well, we're going to get back to the competition on Saturday. You guys win again. Talk a little bit about it. It's 5 shooters. You got a lot more people than that on your team, but it's 5 shooters. You take the best 4 scores. Does any kind of strategy go into who you shoot, or how does that kind of work for you guys?
Well, I mean, you try to, obviously, we have more than 5 on the team. You try to pick the best 5. And, like this year, I kind of looked at who was having the high score for the 5th shooter. And you just, you just tell them that, you just got to focus. And I got to just, be honest. This year, out of all the matches we won, this was the most rewarding because, I mean, for us, we had an illness running through the team. And matter of fact, I had one girl that Friday night I almost had to take her home. She was so sick. So that was Cheyenne Malone, but she gutted it out. She did a great job. So there's any specific strategy for me, you just try to get the best 5. And I guess if there's one particular strategy, you want to look who's peaking at the end of the season. That's what I always tell them. You want to be at your best at the end, and that's what we look for. Right.
Well, we are in a co-ed sport here in riflery, but it seems like the girls have kind of taken over. Your 5 shooters that you shot, and the 4 that were in the score were all females, and then the 8 qualified for state, to shoot as individuals, they were all female. You got any theories or what contributes to that now?
Yeah, I got a couple thoughts on that. I mean, me personally, I just think, I don't know if it's an age thing, but the girls want to listen. And listen, having taught marksmanship in the Marine Corps, what we find in the Marine Corps is usually your best marksmen are the ones that have never shot before. And all the females that we have on our team, they've never shot before, so they have no really bad habits. And then the other piece of it is actually genetics, the way they're built with their hips. They can actually throw their hips out a little bit further. And, the most difficult position, and the position that's going to win a match, if you look at the way this is done, is standing. Mm-hmm. And historically, you win standing, you're going to win the match. And girls just seem to be able to get in the standing position a little bit easier than guys.
Coach, you had 2 girls that qualified for individuals. That was Jordan DeJesus, who actually finished second last year, and then you also had Virginia Bird. So talk a little bit about those 2 girls and what they mean for your team.
Well, I mean, to me, Jordan's once in a generational shooter. I mean, Jordan, if you look at her stats, 2-time state champion. Obviously, finished second the year before. Made the All-State team. I mean, she's got a full ride to Ole Miss. I mean, she's going to go down. I think, if you look at her numbers, is probably one of the greatest high school shooters in the state of Georgia. Just a great kid, and not just as a shooter. I mean, she's also a National Merit Scholar. So I mean, she's a great captain, great team leader. And Virginia's been coming on strong. I mean, she's definitely picked up her game. Her score of 590 was actually tied her personal best. So both are really, really strong shooters.
Right. And Jordan wound up finishing second again. She is a senior, so she will be moving on to Ole Miss, like you said. But talk a little bit about, Coach, who's going to kind of fill that void for you next year.
Well, I mean, again, we're kind of blessed. I got out of the 5, I had, this year we had 1 senior, 3 juniors, and 1 freshman. And the 3 juniors, obviously they'll be back. And the freshmen, I mean, I tell her all the time, you can be as good as Jordan, and she's already got plans to go to camp this summer. So I feel pretty good about next year. But again, it's a long ways off.
Right. Well, Coach, congratulations. Like I said, back-to-back state champions. That's really something you guys can be proud of and going forward. Like I said, and it really doesn't stop for you guys. I mean, you guys are currently on a trip right now to continue the shooting, correct?
Yes. So our high school team is also our ROTC team, and we've won the Navy Nationals for 3 years in a row, and we'll be one of the 5 Navy teams that we're representing the Navy at All Service Nationals. We leave Wednesday to go to Ohio for a match up there.
Right. Well, congratulations, Coach. Good luck up there, and appreciate your time, and thanks for being on air with 912 Sports.
And I just as an extra plug, I just like to throw in, I mean, gone to 3 state championships, and Ware County did an amazing job at that match. What a great venue, and I just want to thank Coach English for setting it up and working closely with Lisa Kelly.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks.
Did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
All right, welcome back to On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Kevin Price. Pleased to be joined now by the new Brantley County head football coach, Coach David Shores. And we'll ask him about the colors he has on here in a moment. Does have that Brantley blue on, but you see a little orange, and that's for a special reason that over there in Nahunta, Caney Bay. But, Coach, welcome to the show. And first of all, congratulations on being the new head coach at Brantley.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you guys having me.
Well, Coach, let's just dive right in. I mean, it's football's all the time these days. You're already hard at work on the job. And, of course, getting ready, I guess, to go into spring practice. Then the summer will be here. And next thing you know, you'll be in a preseason camp. But I guess you've been the head coach there now for a little over a month after Coach Jeff Cannon left and headed elsewhere as well. But just talk about how excited you are to be there at Brantley.
Yeah, truly stoked to be here. I've been in Georgia now going on 10 years and coached a lot of good places. Started out Peach County and Lowndes and Camden and Brunswick. And my wife and I sort of settled in and down here in South Coastal Georgia and really like it. This opportunity came about sort of late in the process, I guess, for the off season. And logistically speaking, it was one where I didn't have to move a long ways and totally revamp everything. So the wife and I talked about it. We prayed about it a lot and it seemed like a good fit. So we went after it and fortunately blessed enough to land the job.
Hey, Coach, I know you had a great job there at Brunswick. You guys were doing some great things, and they're still going to do great things. But let's kind of talk about that. I mean, you've been a head coach before in a different state, in the state of Alabama. But were you maybe looking to become a head coach, just maybe waiting for the right opportunity or the right time?
Yeah, Kevin, I've interviewed for, a few jobs here in Georgia since I've been here. It's always been my goal to sort of to reach that status again and have my own team. It's all about a fit, when you start looking at opportunities and this one to me, it's a small town atmosphere, which I love. I grew up in a place a lot like Nahunta and a county a lot like Brantley. So it felt like home when I came over, and the people I'm working for are fantastic. Our principal's a very proactive guy and pro athletics. So, our administration's, strongly behind us and wants to build up a program to where we compete with anybody we play. So it's just the kind of opportunity I was looking for and couldn't be more excited to be here.
And maybe allude to this. I mean, I don't know who else applied for the job, how many candidates they had, how many finalists they had, but do you think by any chance that maybe the familiarity they have maybe there in Nahana with Camden, where you were at as the defense coordinator, and also being at Brunswick most recently, do you think the fact that maybe there was some familiarity there with those programs and the success they had that maybe helped you out, gave you an advantage?
Yeah, I think familiarity is always big, and geographically speaking, administration is just like any other employer. If it's people they're familiar with when it comes to the hiring process, sometimes that does give you a leg up. Now, I hadn't met anybody here prior to, but being like you said in the same relative area, the media covers certain schools and programs, and I would assume that they're able to keep up pretty well with Brunswick and Camden over here.
Well, I guess I'll just ask you, how tough was it to leave Brunswick? I mean, there's some family ties there, of course. Yeah. Obviously, you kind of grown some roots there in a lot of ways. Wore several hats as a strength and conditioning coach, defensive coach as well, and got to know the kids there really good. How tough was it to say goodbye to those guys, even though you're not all that far away?
Yeah, it's never easy to leave a place, especially when you have family ties like we did. My brother-in-law, Garrett Grady, over there is a head coach, and been there a couple of years through his first 2 years as a head coach, and tried to help him all I could. Was there with Pender for 1 year. A lot of talent in Brunswick. We've won a lot of ball games over there in a short period of time. So it is very difficult walking away from it. Of course, Garrett took care of me. I had a good schedule, coached in the weight room, did special teams, coached safeties, and also helped him as assistant head coach. So, it was a good time. I knew when I went up there, I was going to have an opportunity to coach my brother-in-law, and that's something I've never done. So it was a blast. But, like I said, opportunities present themselves, and this seemed like a great one. We left, and no love lost. It was a good opportunity, and everybody over there saw it. So, like I said, we're excited to make the move, but it was difficult. Those kids walking away from some really good players that I've been developing over the last few years in that weight room was always difficult.
Hey, Coach, I mean, just kind of, you're there in midstream, second semester, I guess, had already started. You're closer to the end of the year now than you were at the start of the year. Next year, of course, it'd be totally different. But what have you been able to do in the short time there that you've been there in Nahana?
Well, I just finished 2 weeks on the job over here, and just gotten in the weight room with them. Took over first through third blocks in the weight room with our varsity kids. Now we're missing about 7-8 kids are in baseball right now. They transition to baseball, fourth block, and lift with them during baseball season. But as far as the rest of them go, I've been able to sort of try to start building relationships and seeing what we got in the weight room. It's all about mental toughness this time of the year, and I sort of want to gauge, who I can count on once we get on the field, and who will finish those reps when it gets hard in the weight room. The same kids that are going to finish it out there on the field on the grass when you get started in pads.
And kind of talk about that, Coach. I guess, they were kind of throwing a curveball, if you will, when Coach Cannon left. I mean, it kind of caught me by surprise a little bit. And as far as I know, he's a guy that the kids probably like. So, here comes the new guy in. There might be some changes. There always are. Sure. Have the kids responded pretty well?
They have. Kids are resilient. I've learned that over my career. I just finished 23 years coaching, and change is always tough. Some people manage it better than others. But when it comes to young kids and adolescents, a lot of times they're more resilient than we are as adults. They can get past things faster than we can and move on. Jeff did a great job in his 6 or 7 years he was here, laid a really good foundation, got him back in a competitive mode. I'm not trying to totally revamp or overhaul the program. We're just trying to tweak it and make some things better here and there. And hopefully we'll see the effects of it come fall.
And talk about what's going to happen going forward. I mean, you got to finish the school year, then you'll be into the summer. But what's spring practice going to look like for you? You going to throw a bunch at the kids, everything but the kitchen sink, and see what they can handle? You going to go ahead and install your scheme, or you just going to find out who can block and tackle?
It's so tough this time of the year because you've only got those 10 real days, and we're lucky enough we got a game on the schedule to finish up spring ball on May 17th. But you really want to make sure you get in as much physicality as you can, the blocking and tackling aspect of it, fundamentals. But at the same time, when you're new, trying to install new offensive schemes or some new things on defense, you want to make sure you hit those concepts as well. So being really selective and intentional about what we script is going to be a key to the success of this spring. We're gonna get the physicality in. I want to know who can block and tackle, and we got to make sure this offensive line's firing on all cylinders coming out of spring. So that's a major point of emphasis for us. I think is really getting those guys coming off the ball and running their feet, knocking some people off the football. But other than that, execution's key. We got to get some base concepts in. A lot of times you want to go sort of whole, throw the whole kitchen sink at them and tone back, during the summer and then sort of add some things in the fall. That's probably where we'll be, but we want to make sure we lay a good foundation too of what we're going to base out of.
Hey, Coach, kind of talk about that. I mean, is it going to be a bunch of new terminology, a bunch of new things for the kids? I mean, are you going to try to install the schemes that you're most comfortable with and see where it goes?
Yeah. Fortunate, Kevin, our the defensive coordinator that was here the last couple of years was basically running my package on defense. I sort of base out of 3-4 and a lot of things he was doing on the back end, I do. The blitz schemes, everything else were very similar, just different verbiage. So, I think mine's fairly simple, my wording. So hopefully there'll be some carryover and not too much confusion defensively. Offensively, Jeff was sort of running it the last several years. So that'll be a complete change for the kids. Again, this is not rocket science. High school football wasn't invented yesterday. And we all, coaches are the best thieves in the world. We steal everything. So there's nothing too original anymore. We all identify what each other does. It's just calling it different things. So, the kids have to put their thinking caps on and go to it mentally ready this spring and ready to learn some new words and verbiage, but the concepts are basically the same.
Hey, Coach, just so people know, for full disclosure, if you will, I mean, what would you call your offense? Are you going to be a spread offense?
Yeah. I think it's spread, no matter how you shake it. If you're taking a shotgun snap, pretty much these days you would consider it a spread offense, whether you're running wing T concepts out of it or pro style concepts or whatever else. We'll be a spread system.
I got you. And you alluded to the defensive coordinator. So talk about the coaches. I mean, are you going to retain a lot of the guys there? Are you going to be able to bring anybody in? What's your coaching staff shaping up like?
Yeah, fortunately, I had the opportunity to bring about 4 or 5 guys with me. Right now, I've got 3 that'll be hired this week going into spring break. One of our co-OCs will be coming in from Middle Georgia. I've got an assistant coach, O-line guy, will be coming from Brunswick that's been there the last couple of years, does a great job, grew up over here in Pierce County. And I'm hiring a young defensive coach from over neighboring Bacon County. Those are the 3 guys that will be hired this week. I'm still looking to add a couple more, probably on defense, just assistants before spring ball rolls around.
Stick around, sports fans. We'll be right back after these messages. You're watching On Air with 912 Sports.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robinson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
All right, I would ask you to name those names, but I know they got to be approved and all that, so we'll just wait to see that and talk to you about that later on. But Coach, speaking of later on, the summer. I mean, Brunswick worked in the summer, Brantley worked in the summer. You can't win anymore if you're not really working year round and getting a lot done in the summer. Will it be a typical summer for you? Probably be a little more important this year than maybe in future years because of all the work you got to get done. But summer passing leagues, all kind of stuff like that.
Oh yeah, we've got a couple OTAs and a couple passing leagues already on the calendar for this summer. Generally, I try to run them in June, 3 days a week, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and give them long weekends in the month of June. And then in July, pick it up to 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. So, you still want them to be kids as much as possible and enjoy their break over the summer. I think sometimes you can overdo it as a coach, and if you peak or start to burn out in late October, November, you're doing it the wrong way. So I try to give them as much free time as possible early, in the summer, and because come fall, ain't no time to relax. So.
And Coach, kind of talk about it's going to be a new region. You're going to be going through things for the first time with Brantley. They're going to be facing some familiar opponents, but some different ones. So I guess it's kind of maybe if there's going to ever be a coaching change, I guess maybe this is kind of good, right? I mean, everybody makes the transition together.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be better if I was making my own schedule out this year. But I get to play it for a couple of years, so we'll make the best of it. We've got a tough schedule again, which, I mean, even you look around here, single A ball, double A ball, I mean, there's good competition everywhere. And however you shake it up and divide up the regions, you're going to have to play some good teams. And, we got Fitzgerald, we got Worth, we got Thomasville. I mean, there's some tough teams in there. Jeff Davis, Berrien and Bacon, and us. So, it's going to be a tough sledding or non-region. We still got Pierce on the schedule. That's always a big game, and close to a lot of neighbors and family and friends around here. So, we're going to do our best. And it's like when I came in here day one, I told the kids our goal in this program is to get to where we compete with anybody in the fourth quarter and have a chance to win the game. And I've always thought if you're out there, whether it's a former state champion or somebody right down the road, you want to have a chance to win the game in the fourth quarter. As long as you do that, I think people are excited and enjoy watching the game.
And Coach, I mean, obviously, let's be honest. I mean, it was tough for Brantley because you had two of the state's best programs right there in their own league. Of course, Pierce, the state champ, Appleton, that very well could have been there.
Yep.
And you're going to get like the Fitzgeralds and the Thomasvilles of the world. So you're just kind of trading apples for oranges there in certain ways. But what does Brantley have to do to get in the playoffs? I know Coach Cannon probably maximized that program, got every little bit of juice he could out of the talent. So how do you keep that program, where it's winning and hopefully at least making the playoffs? Well,
I think if you go back and look at any program that has a deep run in the playoffs, Kevin, I think, you see a type of energy late in the season. And I think if you don't get that, even if you make the playoffs, it's really hard to have success against teams that are equal to you or possibly better. So, I think, winning the games you got to win, of course, and we want to get in. We'll take the top four. So you're looking at teams you got to beat to get in, and then once you beat them, you hope you still have that kind of energy and momentum going into late in the season in the playoffs. That kids are still actively engaged and wanting to learn and wanting to play. It's getting harder and harder in high school ball these days to keep their attention. For 15 or 18 weeks during the course of a football season. So, being, like I said earlier, being real strategic and intentional about how you schedule things and what you ask of the kids on a weekly basis, I think is key to having that kind of energy and that positive flow going into the late season.
And Coach, my guess is you've watched every game film from last year, or if you haven't, it's because you're going slow by slow, step by step, and you've already filled up a couple of notebooks full of notes. But you don't have to tell us everything. But kind of what's your general impressions of the Herons and what y'all do good, maybe what you need to improve on based on some early analysis.
Yeah. Well, I think last year there were a few games last year it came down to some turnovers. We're going to try to fix that with some ball security stuff this spring and summer. Have an opportunity to complete some balls that we may not have completed last year. There's going to be some turnover. Our offensive backfield, Jeff's kids, both his sons played quarterback for him the last couple of years, and of course they're gone with Jeff. So finding a trigger man is going to be paramount, to success going into spring and summer. And we've got some ideas of guys that can fill those shoes. But when you change terminology and offenses, of course, everybody has to get in the same frame of mind and be on the same page. So your offensive line has to work with your running backs and tight ends and pass protection and all those kind of things. It just takes reps, if you know what I'm saying. So, like I said earlier, laying a good foundation for the offense in the spring, and then sort of fine tuning that all summer is going to be key. Defensively, I thought they were really salty last year. They got after it. Of course, we've got to keep in mind that they graduated over 20 kids off this team. So, at this level, anytime you get up around that number 20 in the senior class, that's a big group of kids. So it's going to be hard to replace them, and we're going to be doing some rebuilding this year. But we want to do it in a way that we rebuild with new people, but we want to keep building on top of that, that solid foundation to improve each year.
And Coach, we're going to get away from Caney Bay for a second. We're going to go over to the state of Alabama, and that has a lot to do, or a little bit to do with what you're wearing there. The last time I looked, no orange in Brantley County's colors, but explain the vest and go ahead and show us the logo.
There you go, yeah.
Explain it.
So I am an Auburn graduate. My brother-in-law actually gave me this vest last year, and it's the first chance I've had an opportunity to wear it to school or to work. But Jalen Williams, grew up here in Nahana, played at Brantley County. One of the top players on Auburn's basketball team right now. And if you didn't know anybody, you'd think this place was Auburn hotbed, especially today. It's sort of a celebration of March Madness and Auburn winning the SEC this past weekend. Jalen's mother works here on campus with us, so we just all wanted to celebrate that today and get everybody fired up for March Madness.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Most of those people are probably Georgia fans, and they probably don't even know that they are playing in the NIT tonight. It's because they're Georgia football fans. But some of us do kind of keep up with a little more in Georgia football. But, Coach, another Alabama-related question, but you actually met this guy, I think, when you were at LSU. I could be wrong about that. But Nick Saban, obviously, he stepped out of the college ranks. I think we have found out that a lot of what drove him out is the off-the-field stuff. We won't get into all that, but my question, Nick Saban question for you is, I think you were a grad assistant under him. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
today it would have been considered an analyst. Back then it was an intern. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically not paying you much, but expecting a lot out of you.
But I'm sure you learned at least a thing or two that you
learned a ton
with you. What maybe is that did you learn from him?
Well, I'll say this: I met Coach Saban a few years before I went to work for him. He was recruiting several kids that I had playing for me at the time, and got to know him. He'd hired a few guys off our staff at Auburn when I was playing there. So I had a leg up on some folks where I'd had some background with him. The biggest thing I can say about Coach Saban and his staff is professionalism. One of the smartest men you'll ever be around, and he doesn't fill his conference room with idiots. I mean, he hires good people, and he had a lot of really smart assistants. You're talking about Kirby Smart, Will Muschamp, Jimbo Fisher, and just a room full of elite coaches. So I think the professionalism that he carries with him on a day-to-day is number one. The way he communicates and builds relationships with his players is key to his success and always has been. The thing, if you look at most successful coaches in any sport, that their words resonate with their players, and they sort of stay front of mind all the time. And if you can do that, if you can find a way to sort of tap in to a kid's frontal lobe to where they're hearing your voice even when they're not around you, then you're going to start having a lot of success. And I think he was able to do that as well as anybody.
Well, good stuff. Good stuff. We'll talk more about him, one day coming up in the future. But we probably need to let you get to class or get to watching some more game film or something. But we certainly look forward to working with you here in the 912, and we'll see you around, this spring probably, but definitely in the summer out on some of the practice fields, and of course going into the 2024 season. So good luck to you, and we'll talk to you again here soon.
Thank you, Kevin. Go Herons.
All right, that was Coach Shores. I'm Kevin Price. We'll be back with more On Air with 912 Sports in a moment.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
This has been a presentation of 912 Sports.